Let me tell you about a guy who had absolutely nothing. I mean, no money, no future, not an ounce of hope, until he stumbled upon one simple secret. He started waking up at 5 a.m. every single morning, and in just 90 days, his entire life flipped upside down. What he did in those quiet early hours is going to shock you, and honestly, it might just be the answer you've been looking for. Seriously, I want you to let that question sink in as we go through this story. What if that's actually true? What if one tiny, consistent change could unlock everything you've been fighting for? Okay, so to really get the power of this one habit, you need to meet Thomas. He's 32 years old, and when our story kicks off, he is just stuck, completely stuck, living a life that feels totally out of sync with the rest of the world. And look, Thomas wasn't lazy. Not at all. He worked hard every single night, walking miles, staying sharp. But what did he have to show for it? A dead-end job, a tiny apartment, and this crushing feeling that all his effort was just pointless. He was completely trapped. You see, his whole world was literally backwards. When he was walking home exhausted and drained, everyone else was just waking up, energized, ready to chase their dreams. He was sleeping while the world was moving forward, and it made him feel totally alone, totally left behind. In every story like this, there's a catalyst, right? That one moment where staying the same becomes more painful than the idea of changing. For Thomas, that moment came crackling through his phone one morning. Can you even imagine getting that call? His world just stopped. He rushed to his village, and seeing his mother so weak, so frail in that hospital bed, it just broke something inside of him. But it wasn't just sadness he felt. It was this deep, burning anger at his own helplessness. And those words, whispered from her hospital bed, they weren't just a plea. They became his mission, the promise that would fuel everything that came next. It wasn't just about him anymore. He had to find a way. He had to keep that promise. And you know how sometimes, when you finally make a real, gut-level decision, the universe just seems to respond? Well, on the bus ride back to his town, still completely shaken, Thomas had a chance encounter with a man who would hand him the exact key he needed. This man, a successful businessman named Mr. Chun, he shared his secret. He called the hours between 5 and 7 a.m. the magic hours. He said this is the time when the world is quiet, your willpower is at its absolute peak, and there are zero distractions. It's the time you can use to build the foundation for a brand new life. Now, this is where the math just gets insane. 2 extra hours every single morning, that adds up to 730 hours in a year. You know what that is? That's the equivalent of 3 extra months of productive work that almost everyone else wastes sleeping or scrolling on their phone. Imagine what you could do with an extra 3 months every year. But Mr. Chun didn't just give Thomas some nice idea. He gave him a clear, actionable system. And this is where it gets really practical. So let's break down the exact plan that changed everything for him. The system is actually beautiful in its simplicity. The first hour, 5 to 6 a.m., is all about building a skill, something that can directly impact your bank account. Then the second hour, 6 to 7 a.m., is for building your body and mind. A little exercise, a little reading. It's a 2-pronged attack on feeling stuck. But here's the catch. To make it work, Mr. Chun laid out 3 simple but incredibly hard rules. Rule number 1, no negotiating with your alarm clock, ever. Weekends too. Rule 2, protect your sleep. Go to bed by 9 p.m. Wasted evenings are the #1 enemy of early mornings. And third, just know that the first week is gonna be hell. But if you push through for 90 days, it stops being something you do and it becomes who you are. So Thomas did it. He accepted the challenge. He committed to 90 days. And this simple system, applied with just relentless, boring consistency, totally transformed his life. And let me be clear, it wasn't some overnight miracle. Day 1 was pure agony, forcing himself to watch YouTube tutorials on Excel. But around day 21, something shifted. The habit started to stick. And then on day 87, the payoff came, a promotion to a day shift office job. And this transformation wasn't just a feeling. You could see it in his bank account. The skills he built in those quiet morning hours, learning things like Excel and basic accounting, directly led to him doubling his salary in less than 3 months. He went from just surviving to actually building a future. Thomas's story is just incredible proof of what's possible. But you know what? This isn't really about him anymore. Now it's about you. It's time to take his story and turn the page to your own with the very same challenge. I mean, really think about it. Thomas started from rock bottom. No special skills, no powerful friends, nothing. The very fact that you're watching this means you probably have more resources and advantages than he ever dreamed of. The only question is, what are you going to do with them?
So here it is, your call to action, broken down into 3 dead simple steps. Tonight, set that alarm for 5 a.m. and put it somewhere you have to physically get out of bed to turn off. Decide on the one skill you're going to pour yourself into for the next 90 days, and then commit to being in bed by 9 p.m. It's that simple and that hard.
A year later, Thomas was his company's lead accountant, taking care of his mother. And when people asked him why he still woke up so early, this was his answer. Success isn't some finish line you cross. It's the discipline you practice every single day, starting at dawn. And that brings it all back to you. The person you want to become, they're waiting for you. They're on the other side of that alarm clock. They're just waiting for you to stop hitting snooze on your own potential. So the only real question left is, are you going to show up for them tomorrow morning?